Welcome everyone to Foundations of Faith, our weekly series in which we explore the history of our parish of St. Teresa of Calcutta, as well as the histories of the many communities that have come together to form our one wonderful community. Today I want to go back to the beginning, back to 1847, when the first church was built, the first Catholic church was built in the city of Scranton. A small, presumably wooden structure that was built and named in honor of St. Bonaventure. This small church was built by Irish and German immigrants, working together in spite of their cultural and linguistic differences to build a church together that they can worship the Lord. It wasn't long after the building of the building that they realized that they were outgrowing it pretty quickly. And in 1853, the community decided to split, with the German community remaining behind and continuing to worship at St. Bonaventure until they also outgrew that structure and built St. Mary the Assumption Church here in Southside. The Irish community went across town to what we now regard as downtown, before Scranton was even founded, and they built a small wooden structure named in honor of St. Vincent de Paul. It wasn't long before the Irish community outgrew that small structure, and in 1867 they built a new church also named in honor of St. Vincent de Paul at the site of the current day cathedral. It was just under a year that they used that as a parish church, because in 1868 the Diocese of Scranton was formed, and the bishop at the time elected to have St. Vincent de Paul Church as the new cathedral. So that the current day cathedral is that building. So in 1868, the St. Vincent de Paul Parish Church becomes St. Vincent de Paul Cathedral, and it remains St. Vincent de Paul Cathedral until in 1884, after extensive renovations, it is renamed the Cathedral of St. Peter. But that building, that beautiful Cathedral of St. Peter, is where that community originally built St. Vincent de Paul Parish Church, and that building is originally St. Vincent de Paul Parish Church. Eventually, from out of the cathedral, a core component of Irish parishioners came back to Southside and built the current day Nativity Church. So it's a wonderful history in which we're going back and forth, and as the diocese is forming and growing, different communities are established, and it's a really an exciting time in the history of our diocese when we're just beginning to shape and form all of this wonderful stuff. So I got the idea for this because the other day I was going through the lower sacristy here at Sacred Hearts at our church, and just cleaning some things out and going through things and organizing, and I found a stack of wooden chairs that there's this wooden chair that I found down there. I'll post a better picture of it. But on the back, you might be able to see this. On the back, it says St. Vincent's. Now, I don't know for sure whether we got this chair from St. Vincent de Paul Cathedral, but I think probably. It's an old chair. It clearly looks very old. There's no Phillips head screws in it. That's one of the indications of an old piece of furniture, is when there's no Phillips head screws, because as we know, the Phillips head was invented in 1932. So it's all flat head screws, and it looks very old. I think it's possible, if not likely, that this chair that we have in the basement of the church and the collection of chairs actually somehow came over here from St. Vincent de Paul Cathedral before it was renamed in 1884 as the Cathedral of St. Peter. So I think this chair is from then. It might be from St. Vincent de Paul Parish that was founded in Northside in 1925. So that has since closed. So it might have come from there, but we have no connection to Northside really. So I think this is actually a chair that we had at one point borrowed from the cathedral and never gave back. So it's ours now. We're not going to give it back unless Father Jeff Tudgay, the pastor of the cathedral, asked for it. But that's if it is from the cathedral, it's well over 150-ish years old. So it's and it's still a good chair. It still works out great. So it's a very comfortable, nice wooden chair, and we continue to use it. So they don't make it like they used to. So our chair from the cathedral will keep, and as a part of our history, and just because it's a nice old wooden chair. But thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week, and we'll see you tomorrow for the Wednesday Good News. Thank you, and God bless.